Hello and warm welcome from my side. My name is Claudia Gem, and here with me is Martina Herf, my colleague. We are both from the product management of the SAP S4HANA Migration Cockpit. And this session is to give you some insight on the SAP S4HANA Migration Cockpit. I give you an overview about the different possibilities, how to use it. And our focus in this part one session is how to migrate data using the staging tables. Okay, let's start. On our agenda, we have a short view on the different ways on SAP S4HANA and where the migration cockpit is located. We give you some overview about the function and the process, how does it work. And following this, we show you the different migration approaches which are available with a focus on the file staging. After a short demo in the system, we give you some insight about the migration objects which are available in the standard. And for sure, we provide more information, additional information on what to find where, some key takeaways that you can make your own familiar also after this session with the migration cockpit. Okay, the SAP S4HANA and the way to this. As you probably know, there are different ways to bring your data in the S4HANA environment. We have, on the one hand, the system conversion, where you move your complete system, the complete settings, the complete history of all your data to SAP S4HANA. Then we have another second possibility is the selective data transition, where you can decide on project level basis which data regarding master data, transactional data, history has to come into the S4HANA system. And the third approach, or the third scenario we have, is a new implementation scenario. Now you have the chance to completely restart with new processes, with a re-engineered process. You can use best practice content provided by SAP. And here is also the SAP S4HANA Migration Cockpit located. It is part of the SAP S4HANA license as well as for the SAP S4HANA Cloud license. And it is, regarding the data migration, the SAP's recommended approach. And for the SAP S4HANA Cloud environment, it is the only way to bring data in. The SAP Migration Cockpit is available to bring data not only from an SAP source system, but only from any third-party legacy system. We will provide this to be able to start completely from scratch, a greenfield environment, and to retire your old landscape. Okay, let's have a look at the migration cockpit itself. As already mentioned, it is delivered by standard. This is an out-of-the-box tool which can be used as soon as you have implemented or set up your S4 system. We provide, with this cockpit, we provide pre-configured migration objects. So you are not, any user can handle this cockpit. You don't need any development skills. You will be guided through the complete process by the cockpit. The content is delivered with relevant rules for value mapping, for sure for the data structure mapping coming from an old to the new structure. Important is that you keep in mind that it is designed for a new implementation scenario. We have an execution environment, which is the cockpit itself, but we have in addition also an modeling environment, which is the migration object modeler. So even if you are if you have additional requirements, you are using customer-owned fields in addition to the standard fields for different applications, for different objects, you are able to add them running the migration object modeler. This is only available for the on-premise world. Okay, the migration cockpit is designed to load initial data from a source system. This is important. Okay, how does the process looks like? Yeah, it is one key task during a transition to SAP S4HANA, the migration. And unfortunately, this migration effort is very often underestimated. Yeah, you keep in mind it is not just press button solution. Yeah, you need to have to do some work beforehand and for sure also after you have your data loaded in the system. So you have to plan this accordingly. First of all, for sure, you have to define your scope. Yeah, which data you need to migrate with a cockpit. In this case, with the cockpit, and you check the content which we deliver, and you select your objects. Yeah, then you have to decide how you want to bring your data. Are you coming from a non-SAP system, or do you have already an SAP system? You can choose between the different approaches we provide. We will see this later on. If the source data are loaded in the cockpit, we are able to map and transform data. Yeah? You can say, okay, I need a value mapping. I have a different number ranging for my cost centers. I need to map new data. My structure, my customer structure looks a bit different in the target system. We have to map the information here. Then you can design this in the map and transform process part. Then you can simulate your data migration, and as soon, you see in the simulation, you see if the customizing is set up right, if the data you have provided can be handled from the API in the back while loading the data. So if you simulate and this is successful, you can run the real load into the target system, and this is done on API basis. Okay. So one more point, one more look on the migration content. The goal is that we cover all best practice scenarios for master data and transactional data. So we have from customer, supplier, product, cost center, all relevant master data are provided, as well the transactional data for open items, inventory, for balances. Yeah? This is all coming with the standard content. In the background, we have predefined structures to handle these data. We have staging tables in place, which will be created automatically. We provide file templates where the business user can put in the data which are in scope locally, so that they do not have to use the migration cockpit itself. So, and if you run the direct transfer, you will see this later, then you are also you have also the relevant selection criteria already in place. Yeah. And as already mentioned, we have the mapping between the source and target structure, the old world and the new world. All the necessary programs will be automatically generated in the background. Even if you create your own objects, then this will be done also automatically. Good. As already mentioned, you have the migration object modeler in place. This is currently available for the on-premise world. Here you have the possibility to enhance the standard content. Yeah, For example, I need a special field. There's one field missing where I need where I have information stored which is relevant for my reporting or whatever. Yeah, then you can, using the modeler, adjust the structures. Yeah, you can do your own mapping between structures and fields, and you are also able to influence the selection criteria. If you say, okay, running a selection on company code level is not sufficient for me, I need also to check a different field or a deletion flag or whatever. Yeah? Then you can also influence this selection in the migration object modeler. And if you say, okay, there's one missing, completely missing, I have to create my own object, then it is also possible with the modeler. If you have a proper API in the background, then you can do this. You can use a standard API if it's sufficient, or you can code your own function model. For this, for sure, you need development skills. Okay, I'm already talking about different migration approaches. Let's have a short look on how does it looks like for the releases until 1909. We had 3 different approaches. We have the transfer data using files, where the user is working with template files which we provide for each single migration objects. The user has to populate this, we upload this, and then the migration processes the data. To be more flexible with a higher data volume, we provided the transfer data using staging tables approach. And here we have the staging tables, which were created automatically in the SAP HANA DB schema. And the user is taking care to populate these staging tables. And for sure, if I fill tables in the system or on the DBs, then I can handle more data, more flexible, more comfortable. And as soon as the data are stored in the staging table, I can process my cockpit functionalities further on. And with 1909, we launched the transfer data directly from an SAP system, the so-called direct transfer. And here we have an RFC connection to an SAP system, and the cockpit is taking care now about the data selection, not anymore the business user or the user working with the cockpit, but the cockpit itself do this for you. And we not only have the connection to an SAP ERP system, we provide already more scenarios, so we can move data from an AFS system, from an EWM system, also from an CRM system, and in the future we also plan to have data from an APO system. So, and now with 2020, we have combined these 2 approaches, the file and staging approach, into one. This means we have moved the cockpit here also to the Fiori UI. We are still able to fill up our template files by the users, but we will always have staging tables in the background. So you can populate these directly with an ETL tool or using the template files. And why do we do this? For sure, we need to improve and align the handling of the user experience with the direct transfer, which was already defined or created in the Fiori UI. We want to provide an easier populating scenarios for the staging tables, and running the Fiori UI, we are able to run an instant-based status tracking. Yeah, so we improved the working with your data a lot, having these new approach available. So all data are stored in staging tables. You can use a local SAP HANA DB or a remote one. And you can further use your template files even in a direct population of the staging tables. Okay. And finally, we have not anymore 3 approaches with 2020, but only 2 ones, staging tables and the direct transfer. And today we want to show you the staging table approach in more detail. I want to go through the next slide a bit faster because you want to see this all in the system. And here I want to show you just how the process looks like in the new environment. Yeah, we have the access via a Fiori app, migrate your data. Here you can enter the migration cockpit. You have to define migration objects, which you maybe already know from the previous solution. You can choose for each single project if you want a local or remote database for your staging tables. And then you can choose different migration objects, and you can run your process on object level, where you can decide which different step is relevant for the single objects I have included in my project. But you are also able to run this action on project level. Yeah, here you have a much more flexibility as we had it before in the staging approach. We deliver with 2020 more than 150 pre-configured content migration objects. And as you already heard, that we run the load on API basis. So this means all relevant checks will be done by the APIs, that we can ensure a consistent data structure in the target. Good. A short jump into the cloud view. As we have introduced a new migration cockpit, you will have 2 different tiles, starting with 2008. And if you want start with the cockpit, you should always use the new Fiori app. And if you have already started with your migration project, then you have to enter this here in the old migration object, because if you created your data, your migration projects in the old application, then you will only see this here and not here. Yeah, this is important. We have a deprecation phase, which is started with 2011. And as soon as it's deprecated with 2105, you will still see on the display module the existing projects. So you should always use the new app if you start. And if you are approaching your go live, you should for sure finish your project with the old one. So this is still possible. Okay, this is again the different steps in the migration cockpit. You select the data, you transfer your data in the staging tables, even with an ETL tool or the template files. Then there's a step prepare staging table, which is a technical step which is needed. Then you process your mapping tasks for your needs, and after the simulation, you can migrate your data. Okay, this is something Martina will show you in a few minutes in the system. So I just jump over this. Okay, we have here the approaches, and this is how it looks like. You can see, you can jump in the documentation if you go on the single migration objects. If you want to check if there are some special things to keep in mind when migrating such data, you should always check the documentation for the single objects. Okay, and before we go into the system, I just want to show you how the setup is for the staging tables. Yeah, you have your SAP S4HANA system where the cockpit is located. We have the legacy system, your source system, and then we have if you run the local database scheme, we will have the staging tables also created locally in your SAP S4HANA DB schema. Yeah. The tables needs to be filled from your source system. The staging tables get read access for this, and the API provides an update function on the application table. And for sure, to have a monitoring possibility, all the data get a status, which will be written in the staging tables if there are errors successfully completed or open. Okay, and for a remote SAP HANA DB schema, it looks a bit different for sure. We have our box with the cockpit, and we have a separate box where we create our staging tables. Yeah, and here via ODBC, the staging tables will be accessed by the cockpit. And then the same steps, we extract and fill the data, the staging tables. The cockpit gets again read access for the staging tables, and the APIs run the update on the application tables. And also here, the cockpit sent back to the staging tables the status for each and single record we have touched. In this presentation, we have included a video for the staging table approach, but now I want to hand over to Martina to show you this directly in the system. Martina, your turn. Martina, bist du noch auf Mute?
Oh, sorry.
We cannot hear Martina.
You hear me now?
Yes, so Martina, now we can hear you.
Oh, sorry, then I will start from scratch because I unmuted, but I think it was my speaker here. Sorry for that. So to start the migration project, you can press here the data migration button. It will bring you directly to the migrate your data app. If you click here on the migrate on the app, you will see here a list of all available migration projects in the system. To create a new project, you have to press a button here, the create button, and you see here both approaches Claudia mentioned minutes before. We will show you, I have to go to the migrate with using staging tables. You have to enter here a name. So whatever. Then here, as we will show you the process with using template files, I have to click here the local schema, and then you go with step 2, one step later. You see here then a list of all available migration objects in the system, and we will show you the migration using the cost center. Then you click here in the available migration object side, the cost center, and with clicking on this button, you can select the migration object. Then here you see you have a link to the documentation. If you're clicking here, you will go directly to the SAP online help, and you see then there, if I click here, you see then there all information about the cost center. Then I will go out here to go and out right. Sorry. I will go direct. So I have to start from scratch. I will go here to the, so using staging tables, enter your name. Go to the steps, and I will select the cost center again, and then I will review the data. And here we'll press, here you see then you can go to the list of all predecessor objects, but I don't want to do that, and because of that I press here the do not add button. You see here then the list with all selected migration objects. In my case it was only the cost center. By clicking here create project button, then the project will create it. As you see here now in the list of the migration projects, you see here then the list of the project I created seconds before. By clicking on the name, you see here then you have here the migration object for the cost center. You see here information running activities. This means that the project is created by pressing the monitor button. You see here now that some information about the activities are going in the background. You see here that the project is prepared, that the object is copied into the project, and that the migration object is prepared again, and to get here the information that the process is completed. Additionally, you see here different information about data, mapping, tasks, simulation, and migration. We're coming through this when I show the process. By clicking here on the cost center, I'm able to download the template for the cost center. If I go a little bit down, you get here an information this demo zip file is created. By clicking in here, you see now here then the file, and you can download the file to your PC. As I'm now in a remote desktop connection, so I will show you this with a prepared file. Here is a download file. I already filled information in, but I will show you how the file looks, or does the template look like. Here on the introduction side, you get all information you need for your file. You have here, for example, information about copy data to a sheet, using the and find replace function, saving the migration templates. So please go to all information about it. It helps you to work with the file. And here in the field list, you get information about all available fields in the file. And you see here for importance, for example, these are all mandatory fields you have to fill in that the cost center or the processes works. And you see here again here all the list about information you can fill in. And if I go direct here to the objects, you see information where you see here stars and controlling areas. These are all the mandatory fields you have to fill in. This, for example, is a controlling area, the cost center number, the valid form and true information, the person responsible you have to add in cost centers, categories, and so on. So I will close this right now and will show how you can upload then the file. If you here press then the upload file button, you have here the functionality to upload the file. I showed before, and I will make it a little bit bigger here. You see here that is a template I showed minutes before. If I press here the open button, then the file is directly uploaded in the immigration cockpit. You get here the information that the validation is scheduled. And as I have no errors in my file, you get here the information that the data are successfully transferred to the staging tables. Means all information I added in are downloaded or uploaded correctly. And if I go back now to my project, you see here now that I have under the tables, I have here 3 instances. These are the 3 instances I showed you before in the template. If I press here the button, you see here also the information about all instances are uploaded from the file into the cockpit. If I go back now, I can here also by mapping task, you see one open mapping task, but this will be more if I go through the process. So then the next step is here, as Claudia mentioned before, that I have to prepare the staging tables. This is more a technical step I have to do. I press here the button and now the preparation is started. You see here again that here's a running activity. If I go again on the mapping, on the monitoring, you see here then a new activity. Here's the preparation. You see the preparation is started. And here you see then the status. After the preparation is finished, we get the information then that the preparation is completed. You see here, to go further during the debate, you see here a list of open mapping tasks. We will go a little bit later through, but I will open it that you see here the list. So this is all mapping tasks I have to go in to work with the objects. We will go in 1 or 2 minutes after the preparation is finished in. What also is new, what I want to show you, that you have here a button where you go to is the mapping task. Here you go again to the list of the mapping task, and here the possibility to download the mappings. If I go through, you get here a list of all mapping tasks you have to fill in. These are here. Also, you see also the mapping task for the controlling area, so on. And you can download this mapping task and you can fill in, as you see before, as a file, and you can upload then the mapping task. That means you don't have to do the mapping in the system. You can also do the mapping in files we provide for you. And as you see, this is one of our test systems. It's not so fast, so the activity is still running for the preparation. We'll go back. And maybe we can go before in one of the mapping tasks. I can show you where we wait here. For example, we'll go to the mapping of the controlling area. You see here now on the right side that you have here source value. That is a value from the file I showed you before. And here you see the S4HANA target value. You have here an S4 help you can open, and you see here all available target value in the system. And I will also, by clicking here on one of the tasks, I select here also the with 3 zeros. I do then here the mapping, and by clicking the confirm button, I confirm then the mapping. And we can do this for each step. If I go back one step, you can all do, if you click here on the mapping task, you see here all of the mappings are selected. If you know the system is set up fine, you can also confirm here all the mappings. But I will quickly go to all the mapping tasks. You see here again the default value for the fixed value controlling area. By selecting the customizing data, I will select also the correct value from the S4 system. I confirm, then I will do the mapping for the language key. I have here also the source value EN for English, and it's the same in the target system. I confirm. By mapping of the cost center, you can see here that are the values from the file, from the source, and here I can enter additional values, but I don't want to do this. I clicking here the source, or here the source in the header, and it can confirm quickly all target values because all are selected here. Then I will do the mapping for the cost center category. It's the same in the target system because I can quickly do this. It's also here. The source value is 1010, and in the system it's also 1010. I will also confirm this value. Also, I will confirm the currency and the mapping of the profit center. And you see right now, if I go back to the mapping, to all of the mapping tasks, you see here that I have here all the mapping tasks was available in the system. No one is open. Here you see the 0 by to be confirmed, and number 8 by all confirmed mapping values. If I go back now, you see here I have in this list no open mapping tasks again, and here an 8 by done mapping task. If I press now, I will press now the simulation button to go one step away. So then the system will do the simulation in the system. You see here again, we have here one open running activity. If I go to the monitoring, you see here again that I have here the simulation data. The simulation is started. I see here the status of the process. And yeah, here is the information that the simulation successfully for 3 objects. If I go to the list, I see all the instances from my file. But to go one step further, you see here there's the activity is still running in the system, and before this is not finished, I can't start the migration. I will look on the time. Maybe we will wait for the system that the simulation is finished. If you go here, you can also click here on the running activities. You can also step then on or view all running activities. You see here you have more than one way to go to the information you need in the system. And as you see, one information I can give you here also for the migration. You will see here there's for the migration for our instances, for the 3 instances we had in the file, the migration is not started. And you see here, you get also here the information, and you see here our simulation is now completed. We have no open running activities anymore, and I can start the migration right now. by clicking on the migrate action. You get here the information you are going to migrate the data, and yeah, by clicking on the OK button, the migration is started. You get also the information here in the system. And again, you get here again the information that you have one open running activities. By going on the monitoring, you see here that the migration was started and still running here. You see it on the status. But by going back, you see here the migration process running successfully. You get here this green information with 100% means that all instances from my file are migrated successfully. You get here also the information under the migration. Here you see all the 3 instances. And you see here, if in case you have errors, you see here then a list with instances have errors, but in this case we don't have errors. But by clicking here on the successfully on the 3 number 3, you go again to the instances we already migrated then in the system. So by this, as the activity is still running and takes some time, I think I will go we will go back to the to our slides, and Claudia will take over. So I will stop sharing right now. So Claudia.
Yep, I will take over again. Okay, let me jump in the presentation mode. Back. Okay. Let's summarize what's new in 2020 for the on-premise part. After seeing this demo, we have now for all the approaches and harmonized Fiori UI. This makes it more comfortable to work in different migration projects, maybe having different approaches. We are now able to process multiple objects at once. This is also new, as well as the instant-based status tracking and the message handling with the monitoring functionality. We have here a bigger improvement. Okay, this is also the progress tracking. Then we have tracking. Yeah.
Sorry, but you don't share, so I don't see your screen right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Better.
Now it's starting.
Okay. Once again, we have our harmonized Fiori UI and the handling of multiple objects at once in the same time. We have the instant-based status tracking and the message handling improved. We have process tracking during the simulation and the migration on object level. And we are now able to upload and download the mapping in the Fiori app, where you can upload your mapping templates as well as the filled mapping files to use it in a different system if you run between the system test landscape and productive landscape, for instance. Important is that a project that you have created with the all transaction LTMC cannot be converted to the Fiori app. So this is to be taken into account if you're already working with. We jump into the cloud again. Here we have the possibility, if you run your go live until 2102, after 2102, then you should use the new Fiori app. Also here, we cannot convert from the old web tempo to the Fiori UI. We have it switched to read only from 2005 onwards. So keep this in mind. You can work with templates files still, as we have this included in the staging tables approach now. And we have these test scripts, as already mentioned here, and it will be maintained separately for file and for staging. Okay, modeler, I think this is only a rough overview of what's possible from the technical point of view. You can copy migration objects, you can adjust them, adding fields. You can export and import project from one system to another system, handling with the modeler. You can simulate and debug your own developments already in the modeler to see if it's working right. You can create completely new objects using standard APIs or own coded function modules. Further, you can also create your own translation objects and rules if you need an own value mapping, own rules for value mapping. This is also possible. And you can use the project in different clients if necessary. This is all controlled by the migration object modeler. One important thing is before SAP S4HANA 2020, you need to export and import your project in the LTMC directly. There you have a button. Starting with 2020, you have to do this in the migration object modeler. Yeah, you have here in the modeler, you have here the export import functionality. Okay, a few words to the migration objects. You're able to check the content which we deliver before you have your system available. All the objects are to be found in the SAP Help portal. Based on the release and on the different approaches, you are able to select the migration objects to check the content. Here you can have the documentation available. We have this separated in the cloud solution and in the on-premise solution. You are able to download the list of objects. So please check the possible and the available objects beforehand, that you can choose the right approach, which is sufficient for your needs. This is important. We have for staging, we have for 2020 a lot of new objects, as you can see. So we will improve this release by release with more content. Okay, and let me check the time. Okay, here in the under the further information, we have listed a pool of information where we have for example, we have our landing pages, which we provide for on-prem and also for cloud, where you can jump in and get all information we already have created. Even if you start the jump with the migration object, we have slides, we have videos, we have trainings available. This can all be accessed by the landing pages of the migration cockpit. Yeah. Also here, it's release dependent. In the very new section of training and education, we have training materials, deep dive sessions, materials created also for the migration object modeler, because there are a lot of functions where you need time to reflect and to understand. This is available now, and for sure all the information for staging and for the direct transfer. And of course, if you have time, join our Open SAP course, where we have described all the functionalities for the migration cockpit in a 2 weeks session. So this is based on 9009, but still really helpful to understand how the migration cockpit is working. In the community, you can exchange with other users, and we also provide here FAQ, for instances, blogs, and we from the product management are also monitoring this. So feel free to join the community. And here we have a hint for a trial system landscape. Even if you want to play around with the migration cockpit and you do not have a landscape, especially for the direct transfer you see in the part 2 session, you need a complete landscape of source and target system. With the fully activated appliance, you are able to create your own instance to play around. We provided demo scripts with data to be tested. So feel free to join and to make you familiar with the cockpit. Okay, I don't want to summarize this again because I think we should. We will provide this slide, I think, and here you find also in the appending some more information. So feel free to review these slides again.